Greetings, you're watching Breaking News on the Creative Society TV channel. On May 7, 2022, a landmark event of a global scale took place, which gives everyone the opportunity to learn the truthful and objective information about the impending danger of climatic and ecological disasters, as well as about the real causes of what is happening and the real scale of the multiple crises of consumerist format of society. The international online forum Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live was broadcast in over 100 languages and thousands of media platforms. We invite you to watch and spread the information about this event.
Since May 12, heavy rains that struck northeastern India have caused floods and landslides. Residents of the states of Assam and Meghalaya were affected. Unfortunately, there is information about the dead. The floods affected a total of more than 50,000 people. The overflowing Barak River flooded large areas of Kachar district. Hundreds of homes were destroyed or partially damaged. Operations were conducted to rescue people from flooded areas, and camps were set up to help people displaced by the floods. Transportation was also badly damaged. Rail and road connections were blocked. Flood waters also inundated arable land.
Hello, this is breaking news report from Australia. In mid-May 2022, heavy rains over several days caused water-spread floodings in the state of Queensland, Australia. Unfortunately, there were casualties. Many drivers were rescued from water traps, rescued with a sinking car, while many have to spend the night in a tree waiting for help. Residents of low-lying areas have to leave their homes. Many roads and fields were flooded, and about 70 schools were closed. The Townsville airport received 3 times the average rainfall for the month of May in 24 hours. Today was the second wettest May date in the history of weather observation. On the night of May 10 to May 11, rapid rainfall also caused floodings in the southeastern to Malaysia. More than 1,800 people in several areas of Sabah State were evacuated as a result of the disaster. Roads were underwater, several landslides were recorded, and many homes were damaged. In total, more than 45 villages were flooded.
On May 17th, a powerful cyclone Yakikan struck Uruguay and Brazil. In some places, the wind speed reached more than 100 kilometers per hour. Unfortunately, there were casualties. Strong winds felled trees, which left more than 200,000 people without electricity. In some areas of Brazil, there was severe hail. Coastal areas were covered with a huge amount of sea foam, which is a rather rare and unusual phenomenon. There was so much foam that it filled all the embankments and splashed onto the roadway.
On May the 12th, the 13th, 2022, a powerful storm system hit the U.S. Midwest. Unfortunately, the bad weather claimed the lives of several people. The state of Minnesota and South Dakota suffered the most from the natural forces. Hurricane-force winds were accompanied by heavy thunderstorms and large hail. In places, its gusts reached 100 miles per hour. The wind felled trees and power lines, overturned trucks, and destroyed many buildings. Tens of thousands of people were left without electricity. At the same time, a powerful dust storm covers some parts of the northern plains. This weather phenomenon, called haboob, is usually observed in deserts and is not typical for this region. It became possible after a severe drought that engulfed areas of the central part of the United States. A wall of dust, raised by powerful gusts of wind, swept through the states of Iowa, Minnesota, South Dakota, and affected Nebraska. Meteorologists said the dust storm was part of Derecho, a powerful hurricane that spans over 240 miles. Brian Smith, warning coordination meteorologist from National Weather Service Omaha Valley, said he had never seen such a powerful storm for 34 years of his job.
In the consumer format of society, the mechanisms that would allow victims of natural disasters to return to a normal life do not work, because the question of the value of human life and its safety is not the priority in consumer society. It is superseded by bureaucracy, greed, and corruption. December 2021 broke the all-time tornado record for this month. On December 10-11, mass tornadoes in the south and midwest of the USA were abnormal for this time of the year, since tornado season normally lasts from April through June. An eyewitness from Tennessee will tell us what it was like to be in the middle of a tornado.
My name is Casey Griffin. I'm from Rosefoot Lake, Tennessee. Me and my family were in the December 10th tornado. I've never experienced anything like this. I remember as a little girl, we would have bad storms and we would like get in the hallway with our pillows and stuff. And, but never to this like significant amount of damage I have never seen before in my life where I come from. Our whole town it's just not there anymore. It's starting to storm like the hail. Because I guess it was hailing outside because we were inside of our mobile home trailer. And I have 3 small children. I have an 8-year-old boy, a 7-year-old girl, and a 6-year-old boy. So I didn't think it would be safe that the storm was that close, putting them in the vehicle and trying to leave. My biggest fear was being trapped inside for a significant amount of time because you hear these stories of people being trapped. So I made sure we had snacks and we had like a candle in the bathroom, and we were able to get a mattress to lay on top of us inside of our tub. Everyone was in there. We could hear it coming through the storm that was already going on. We could hear debris hitting the trailer. As it was getting closer, it got more intense and the trailer started to shake from the backside. I heard everything and we could only just sit there and look at each other and just pray. It's like we were all in sync in the air because it had lifted us at that point. And it felt like a really long time that we were in the air just hovering, but it finally sat us back down. And I heard it leave, which my grandparents' home actually got hit too, right down the road from us. And that night was a war zone. It was a miracle that we made it because every single other mobile home around us was in big balls on the like other side of the yard and roads. We were just one of the blessed families that night. Even though we lost our home, even though we're suffering through tons of anxiety and being displaced, and I'm not even able to work right now because I'm having to move while they're at school, and just having 3 children along with me in this process, I'm still dealing with like shock, you know, and everyone's like natural disaster. And I was like, this isn't natural. In my head, after the fact, I was like, this is not natural. Like, no one should go through this. No one should die this way. My elderly neighbor across the street, they found her still sitting on her couch wrapped around a tree. And it has really opened my eyes to a lot in all aspects, like how the government's being ran, how money gets distributed, how donations work. It's things like it, the resources with the government thing, because they give you all these 800 numbers and they send you in circles and they're just like wanting you to prove why you need that money from them. And, you know, like FEMA telling me that I didn't give significant proof for the damage. And I was like, my house is gone. I can send you a picture. Life can change just like that. I'm just hoping that people can start using these devices and like their resources that they have for like the betterment of something, instead of like, you know, gossip and what this celebrity is doing and what that celebrity is doing. Like, we have bigger issues to talk about. And I just really hope that people's eyes are opened to, the suffering that's really going on in this world. Because, like, I've been catching myself, like, feeling guilty for having nice things now. Being able to have a home. I feel guilty because other people don't have that. I don't think that that's a healthy mindset to have, And, like, the only way for me to combat that mindset that I have right now is to go out and help.
Understanding the lack of real help from various foundations and organizations to eliminate the consequences of natural disasters, people try to help victims themselves and send them funds for reconstruction after natural disasters. But even these donations, unfortunately, do not always reach the addressee, but end up in someone's pocket. An eyewitness to the volcanic eruption on the island of La Palma shares her story.
Greetings, I'm Rocio. This volcano began erupting on September the 19th, 2021, at about 2:15 p.m. It came as a surprise to us. Its eruption was just 2 kilometers from where I lived at the time. Imagine the roar of that eruption as it exploded. There was a very loud sound and a strong vibration. And when I looked at it, I saw smoke, a mass of smoke, because it was daytime and we couldn't see the erupting lava yet, just smoke. I said, wow. When the volcano started erupting, I immediately took my family. I live with my husband and 3-year-old son. We picked up what we had on hand, cell phones, personal documents, some clothes, and drove to my mom's house. She lived a little further away. We spent a very disturbing day there. It was like a living hell, and I said, wow, what is that erupting? Of course, in my ignorance, I thought it was fire, but it was not fire, it was lava, the magmatic material that was erupting from this volcano. It was like a river. Imagine a river, but of lava. It was spectacular. The volcano was spewing very fine ash into the environment, which is not only toxic but harmful when you breathe it, right? More than 2,908 buildings were completely destroyed, including schools, medical centers, and cemeteries. Imagine the pain of those people, those residents of Palma, who were there to see that their families, mothers, fathers, uncles, etc., were buried under the lava, and they didn't have no one left. This is besides the fact that more than 7,000 people were evacuated. The island of La Palma is very small, with only 83,000 inhabitants approximately. It's a very small island. What is happening today? Only in the form of donations we have been given more than 10 million euros, apart from the fact that the Spanish and Canarian governments have also given to La Palma in the form of donations from individuals and companies. But the saddest thing is, where is the money? I also have the world to thank. Those who heard about it and came to help. There were so many of them. Blessed were those people who, even if they didn't help financially, their help was incredible. There are also those people, those volunteers, who came to help with our selfish ends. As I said, unselfishly, they helped pick up things from people's homes that they knew they would lose. The people who also brought their car, their truck, who had the means to help these people move out of their homes and remove their possessions so they wouldn't lose them. People acted in incredible ways. I would like to say that the world needs something called empathy. We need more empathy around the world. We need to know how the other person is feeling, to put ourselves in their shoes, to know that you wouldn't want to go through what that person is going through. The world needs more unity and love. Enough, enough. There is so much hatred, war and evil. Enough. We need unity. As we have seen here on the island of La Palma, the whole world needs love in these difficult times. That is the answer to everything. When you want to do something, first do it with love, and everything will be fine.
If you have witnessed a climate anomaly, send your video footage to climate@creativesociety.com. And now we have a participant of the international online forum Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live, Alexei Prutkov. Hello, Alexei. Please share your impressions about the preparation and the forum.
Greetings, everyone, and thank you for inviting me to speak. It was truly a great honor and privilege to be part of the team that was preparing the international online forum Global Crisis, Where People We Want to Live, that took place on May 7th. And an enormous amount of work has been done. I hope that everyone now watched the forum and can see by themselves that the information that was exposed during this 11-hour broadcast is very sobering and life-changing for many, because as a lot of people think that everything is fine in their country and nothing is happening with climate or other disasters, that nothing happens elsewhere, and especially during the breaking news, you can see that this is not the case, and this is why people, thousands of people from all over the world, tirelessly prepared for this massive event and spent their days and nights searching for information, verifying information, compiling all the data for you in one broadcast that you may think is very long, but it's worth the watch. So for everyone who is still thinking that we live in a world where, well, things are happening just sporadically and they will not come to your place, I advise you to watch the forum and breaking news broadcasts that happen every week, because people from all over the world share what they see with their own eyes, and during the forum we gave the explanation why these cataclysms are happening, and this is very important. It's important to understand that we have to unite in order to overcome the challenges, because otherwise any country by itself cannot stand what's the climate is preparing for us. Thank you.
Could you please tell us about the research you presented at the forum?
Thank you for this question. And I was taking part in the preparations, mostly in the group that was researching international organizations and funds. And as you have heard from eyewitnesses during this broadcast as well, there is no real help from the governmental bodies that should be providing this help. So this is one of the main reasons why we also started researching that despite billions of dollars spent every year on supposedly helping people, people still do not receive adequate help. So we wanted to dig deeper in this and find out what is the problem. And what we found was, quite unsurprisingly already, is that the format of society, the consumerist format of society we all live in right now, it is the main reason why organizations that in the first place start to with the goal to take care of the people, they turn just into as any other business that strives to expand its own reach, its power, and accumulate as much capital as possible. And this is why they are not interested. There is a conflict of interest, because any organization that wants to expand, and it can expand only when the problem it is dealing with is expanding, is increasing. This is why they are not interested really in solving any of the problems: hunger, poverty, lack of drinking water, or anything else for that matter. And this is what we have found, and we presented compelling evidence that billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars are spent every year. Yet for 76 years that the United Nations exists, nothing has really changed. And this is the main thing, that until we change the format of society from consumerist to creative society where human life and not money is the highest value, we will not be able to solve any of the problems. And once again, I invite everyone who still has not watched the forum to go and have a listen and watch all the videos and all the presentations made by the speakers. They will really open your eyes on the real situation of this crisis, of many crises actually that we are living in today, and the way out, building the creative society. Thanks again.
Thank you, Alexei. On May 16, 2022, sandstorms with strong winds struck eastern Syria and regions of Iraq. As a result of the natural disaster, there are casualties. In Iraq, a state of emergency was declared. Schools, universities, government agencies and airports were closed. A day earlier, in Kazakhstan, in the town of Tekeli, a landslide fell directly on residential houses. Unfortunately, there was one casualty. The volume of the mud mass was about 4,000 cubic meters. Watch next in the report about other natural disasters in the world.
On May 11th, a flood occurred in the south of Uzbekistan, which was caused by heavy, albeit short-lived rain. Unfortunately, there were casualties. Mud flows flowing from the mountains carried away cattle, stones, tree branches and cars. On May 12th, Mount Etna erupted on the island of Sicily, Italy. This led to the formation of a lava flow that reached the base of the crater. The eruption was accompanied by an increase in the level of tremor. On May 13th, another Italian volcano, Stromboli, experienced a series of stronger than usual explosions. Volcanic activity has resulted in a significant release of pyroclastic material. On May 14th, a flood occurred in the city of Accra, Ghana. Just a few hours of abnormally heavy rain was enough for the city center and some areas to be flooded. As a result, there were problems with the movement of transport. Some roads were blocked due to obstruction.
Today's natural anomalies show the fragility of the world. In one moment, people lose their usual way of life, lose everything they considered dear. The rapid escalation of disasters shows that the climate spares no one. It is the most cruel and merciless enemy. Today, climate change due to astronomical processes and their cyclical nature threatens the existence of all humankind.
What is happening on the planet right now is abnormal for the last 11,000 years. Let's face the facts. Over the entire millennium, the planet hasn't experienced such a drastic climate change as in the last 30 years of our lives. Overall ocean heating has increased by 450% in the last 30 years. Evidence of heating of deep ocean layers suggests that the ocean is warming from the bottom up. The ocean warming provokes an increase in the strength and number of hurricanes. The year 2020 has broken all records for the frequency of hurricanes and tropical cyclones on the planet over the entire period of observation. Due to increased humidity and rising temperatures, the intensity and number of tornadoes is increasing. Since the 1990s, the number of tornadoes in Europe has increased tenfold and continues to grow. Tornadoes and hurricanes can destroy entire residential districts, and they don't care if people are hiding there or not. Over the past 33 years, there has been an increase in the number of storms, wind speeds, and wave heights in the oceans are rising, and a significant acceleration of sea currents has been observed. According to NOAA, the number of floods in the US has increased by about 100% over the last 30 years. At the same time, they began to occur synchronously, hitting several countries at once. Since 1998, floods have affected more than 2 billion people worldwide. The rate of loss of the Greenland ice sheet over the past 30 years has increased 20 times and exceeds the maximum rate of the last 12,000 years. Numerous studies indicate that the cause of melting of glaciers is the increase in geothermal flow. That is, heat from the bowels under the Greenland ice sheet. Over the last 30 years, the rate of ice melting in Antarctica has increased by 65%. Moreover, this is happening only in the western part of Antarctica, where there is a huge magma chamber and 140 volcanoes, the heat of which melts the ice from the bottom up. Despite the fact that high mountain glaciers are melting, lakes and rivers around the globe become shallow, and water escapes into the depths through cracks. According to research by American scientists, water levels in the world's largest rivers have dropped significantly over the last 50 years. Around the world, thousands of water bodies disappear, but at the same time there are powerful downpours. For example, in China, despite frequent floods, more than 28,000 rivers have disappeared in the past 20 years, roughly half of all the country's rivers. The number of extreme fires is growing, and they do not cease even in winter. Nowadays, on average, 7 times as many large wildfires occur in the western United States every year as there were 40 years ago. Even the Arctic is already burning. With 2019 seeing the largest and most destructive fires in the Northern Hemisphere in 10,000 years. Fires occur in areas where the Earth's crust is fractured and where hydrogen, methane, and other combustible gases emerge from the subsurface. Because of that, fire cannot be put out. It incinerates cities, leaving scorched areas for years. More and more often, people lose their lives in fires or suffocate from the smoke.
Natural disasters cover more and more territories, and this is only the beginning. Further on, their intensity and power will only increase. If we really want to live, we need to unite and create a world in which human life comes first, and to build a creative society in which there is no hunger, no wars, and no crisis of any kind.
There's certainly a lot of tragic, dramatic events happening around the world right now. And this is probably a condition for all people to have this audit of values and to exemplify their humanness.
Even in the Holy Scriptures, it is said that in order for people to come to their senses, an epidemic, a war, and a famine must take place. Then humanity returns to God. I would not want that.
There is another way.
It's the wrong way. Yes, we all went through an epidemic. Thank God, not all of us are going through war. But famine, it is not right. People should not suffer. People should live in joy, love, and happiness. They should acquire something much greater than what this world can give to a human now. It is all in our power. We can change the world for the better, if we want it. That's the point, if we want it. And for us to want it, we must know that it is possible. We must understand this. We must understand that the creative society, for example, the creative society is really capable of changing our entire world, not only to stop wars, but also to remove such concepts as epidemics, famine, and suffering. Why? Because modern science has already gone far enough to solve a great many problems, to solve the problem of water, to solve the problem of hunger, and to cope with a lot of diseases. This is really so. The energy issues. There are a lot of things. And if we as humanity really want to become humans, to become a civilization, then even greater opportunities will open up before us. It could be a beautiful world indeed. The only question is, will we have enough humanness and vigor of spirit to build a creative society? Will we have enough understanding that this is necessary? Or will we, as always, like thousands of years before, hope that someone will do this while I'll sit this one out? If we are guided by that, then nothing will work out. We won't be able to counteract the climate this time. We have nothing to confront it with. We don't have a solution. We don't even have an understanding of what is going on with that climate. So far, science is busy with other things. People are divided. While climate disasters are progressing very quickly, unfortunately. It is all growing. It is growing not for the better. But we do have a good chance. Indeed, we have a huge chance. But for that, we must consolidate. For that, we must remember that we are human beings.
Yes, we are people and we want to live. And to have an opportunity to use this only chance, everyone's participation is important. Join us in building the Creative Society. You can learn more about the Creative Society at creativesociety.com website. Thank you for being with us today and see you soon on the Creative Society TV channel.